David Wright. I work at Mansley Service Department. Mansley operates 7 buildings around the UK. So we're currently in London, Edinburgh, Inverness and Cheltenham. My main role is Portfolio Development Manager. So I'm tasked with helping to find properties in this expansion strategy that we have. Increasingly, Sustainability Officer, that is becoming a bigger and bigger part of the role that I do for the company.
Okay, I'm curious to know, I guess, why Mansley has started on this net zero journey. What's been the kind of the driver, the reason for why you as a business decided to spend some time on that?
Yeah, well, I think that as a company, we've always, it's our ethos to do things well and in the right way. So, not to sort of, shirk your obligations, whether that's in health and safety, sort of guest comfort and consideration, and also environmental considerations. This is a responsibility of a business. So it started for me a couple of years ago, October 2022, and the owner of our company, Sir Richard Rowley, he had himself started a green tourism accreditation assessment. I got really sucked into the topic very quickly, and I found that sort of a lot of the information that you had to provide, it's all contained within the company somewhere. It's just that it wasn't unified or consistent, that it was somebody somewhere that knew this bit of information, but it was somebody else somewhere that knew a little bit about something else. And so just really trying to piece together who knew what and sort of bring it all together. That took time. And also suddenly, from sort of out of nowhere, almost suddenly bombarding people with questions about sustainability related topics. So we went from sort of 0 to 60 quite quickly in a way in that respect. And so obviously right at the beginning, as everybody will tell you, that you get a bit of resistance, a bit of struggle with buy-in, engagement and all those types of things. So struggled through that as well to begin with, but I think it took up until March. So I started in October, and it was in March that we submitted our first assessment, and we came back with a silver rating on that, which we were very pleased about. So green tourism helped me fill in what was missing. So we'd done the assessment, pulled together a wad of information, and then I said to them, "Can you help me do a carbon footprint report?" And they were sort of gave me the missing criteria for that. So I worked with them to decide what was going to be inbounds, what was going to be out of bounds. It was pretty comprehensive, and it was scope 1, 2, 3.
Dave, you mentioned at the beginning that the green tourism was kind of, it was Sir Roger's kind of instigation to start with, and then kind of pulled you in. And then you mentioned that you've gone on to kind of do the carbon footprinting. I'm just curious to know, I mean, it's fantastic that there's that sense of responsibility as an organization. This is something you should be doing, and that's kind of been a key driver. Was there any other kind of business consideration in terms of you and your market that came into those decision making? Because obviously, there's quite a bit of investment of your time and energy into producing.
Yes, in terms of time and energy, yes, it was a lot of work, that's for sure. I think that in that instance, it really was more about us being a responsible operator, understanding our impact. I don't think in that first instance there was a huge thought about how this might commercially benefit us in doing that. I think in the first instance it got approval from everyone, really, because I pitched it as sort of the starting block of a much bigger plan that you have to know where you're starting from before you can do anything else. You need a benchmark report. We weren't recording guest travel. And when I say guest travel, this is stuff that we arrange on behalf of the guest while they're staying with us. So maybe someone staying at Kensington says, in our old sport building, can you get me a taxi to go back to Heathrow? So like we'll record that and sort of absorb that as part of our thing. And then that provides us with a bit of an effort to actually see if we can convince them to use alternative means and say, actually, you can just take the tube. It's very, very easy. Or we've negotiated a discount with Heathrow Express. So, people can be encouraged to use alternative means.
So David, have you experienced any business benefits from the work we've been doing so far?
So I think that what I've started with in the beginning is getting internal engagement going, because you can't do it by yourself. I can't be responsible for checking all the meters in all the properties across the country. You need somebody to sort of do all this for you, or the guest travel recording. Well, I work remotely the vast majority of the times when I'm not on site to sort of be recording any of this information. So you need people to do a lot on your behalf. So I've worked really hard on internal engagement and making things easy, because this is the primary objective for when you're asking anybody to do anything on your behalf. Make it as easy as possible. So that has in itself achieved some recognition. So we also did an assessment with Green Gauge. And so the Green Gauge had their awards at the beginning of this year, and I submitted one for us, and we won a gold award for operator. And this was largely based on sort of the back office work that I've done. And then even at the recent ASAP awards, Mansley won the sustainability award there, which I was really delighted about. So we have achieved a level of recognition in this field, that people have begun to see Mansley are sort of one of the more proactive members when it comes to sustainability, and sort of me individually, I get sort of recognized as a person working in